Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. We're here at the Forverts office in New York City, checking out its new exhibit on its founder, Abe Cahan. Let's take a look. We're here at the Forward, and we're going to experience a really interesting exhibit. Tell us a little bit about your work and the exhibit that we're going to see.
Well, I'm the associate editor of the Yiddish Forward, the Forverts, the original, now in its 113th year. And the exhibit we put together is on Abe Cahan, who was the founding and longtime editor. In 1897, he was the first editor, and then he left for 5 years, came back in 1903, and remained editor from 1903 to 1951.
Wow.
And during that time, he became definitely the most powerful Yiddish editor in the world, but definitely Jewish editor as well. Very important figure in New York politics, a socialist, helped support socialist candidates, and really helped in many fields of Jewish culture, literature, theater, and politics.
Mm-hmm. And what are some interesting things we're going to see in the exhibit?
Well, whenever you have someone who is that powerful and lives such a long life, you're going to see a lot of controversial things. Like, for instance, when the Yiddish writer Shalom Asch started to write a novel about the life of Jesus, Cahan, absolutely refused to publish anything more by Asch, and wrote, big headlines, Asch believes in Jesus, which was not true, but
right.
In any case. So, and he wrote a book against Asch. So he was always looking for a fight.
Right.
So it made it interesting. As a theater critic, if he panned a play, that play closed.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to see how a lot of people disliked him, but on the other hand, you have to see it, how he developed a Yiddish newspaper to become a successful endeavor, which was not easy to do.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, even today, Yiddish is actually, I feel like it's almost like a revival of the Yiddish language and plays. Tell us a little about what you're seeing in the community.
Well, now with internet, of course, we're connecting to people all over the world, and so the whole idea of community, like a Yiddish-speaking community, which today probably exists only in the Hasidic world in terms of living in the same neighborhood. But if you expand that definition of community, we all talk to each other through computers now, and so it's easier to establish a kind of community, because that's the problem with Yiddish. If you're not from the Hasidic world,
right.
Is who are you going to speak with?
Right.
Fine, you learned Yiddish, but you need a community.
Right.
So obviously the new technology helps with that. So yes, I mean, there's great things happening, and we're promoting it through the paper, but also we're working on television and radio products to help people connect, Yiddish-speaking people connect throughout the world.
What's the best part about getting connected to Yiddish language and culture for you?
Well, I've been very lucky in that my whole life I've actually found a job in Yiddish. I was an archivist at the YIVO Institute, then I was a professor of Yiddish in Texas, the University of Texas in Austin, and now I'm at the Forward. So I feel privileged that my whole life I've been able to make a living, raise a family, in the Yiddish world, which not many people can do.
Right.
Because it's a language with no country. It's a diaspora language, so there's no government funds involved, which of course makes it interesting as well, and makes it unique in that way.
Right. Okay. That's definitely, it's one of those languages that it is rich in history, but it also has a new history.
Right. Right. And there's a lot of creative literature and theater that the non-Yiddish world is totally unaware of, and so much more needs to be discovered and translated and made accessible to that outside world.
Great.
The non-Yiddish world.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing more about Yiddish and the re-exploration.
We'll take a look at the Yiddish Forward website. You'll see a lot of interesting things we've been doing.
Thank you. So as the curator of this incredible exhibit, what are some of the unique parts of this exhibit?
Well, this is one of the most original items that we have. It's an original Bintel Brief from 1926, and the Bintel Brief was a column in the original Forverts paper where people would write in with their problems, and the editor, Abe Cahan, would respond with advice on how to assimilate, or just a general precursor to what became the Dear Abby column in regular syndicated newspapers. We didn't actually know that we had this in our own collection until this exhibit, and we unearthed this, and this is the first time this has been seen in probably 80 years.
Amazing. And how did this all come together?
Well, they'd been planning this exhibit for about 2 years now, and they went on a search for curators. And I applied for the position, and I have some experience with shows of this, not necessarily this subject matter, but of this sort of type, of this sort of cultural specific. And I come from a Yiddishkeit background. So I figured it would be sort of a good, interesting challenge for me. I only had 2 months to go through all of the materials and write a narrative together. And this is what we came up with.
And it really is fantastic. It's like looking back in history, done a great job in putting it all together and really bringing things to life.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. As you can see, it really is a fantastic exhibit. This is Aaron Herman, and thank you for watching.